Hello, welcome to Online PTE. My name's Alistair, and today we're going to look at Module 4, Task 4. So we're doing listening, and the task is highlight correct summary. Now in this part of the test there are 2 to 3 tasks, and in each task you listen to an audio, and then you have to decide which summary summarizes what you've heard best. So the summaries that you are given will all be on the same subject, but you have to work out what is different between each one of those options. So it's important that, and I want you to think about different strategies. The first one I want you to think about is looking at the first sentence of each summary and deciding which words are different between the first sentence of that summary and number 2 and number 3. Now, one way to practice this is to get a piece of a text, look at it for 5 seconds, and after 5 seconds is finished, turn the text over, and what words do you remember? So let's just try it with the first one. You've downloaded Highlight Correct Summary, and you'll see the subject is about cliches, something you might not be sure about, but I'm going to get you to look at that text for 5 seconds from now. Turn it over and write down what words you remember. You might remember 3 or 4 words, and I guarantee you will not write down words that you do not know. You're only going to focus on words that you do understand. So that's a really good little tip to practice a quick skim read of a passage. Then note taking is really important. So practice your note taking as much as possible. And examples of that is that as you take your notes, make your notes quickly, use abbreviations, so shorten the words. You'll hear longer words where you won't have time to write them out in full. For example, government. For government, write down GOV, put a full stop in, and then a T for the last letter of the word. Another one, financial. Write down FIN, full stop, and then write down the L, which is the last word, last letter in the word financial. And then the speaker's purpose is really important. So is he or she explaining, criticizing, debating, persuading, suggesting? All those different purposes of an audio are really important. And the tone of the voice therefore comes into play. Emphasizing and stressing certain points are very important, and that's when the speaker will slow down and the speaker's voice might lift up, as mine is doing at the moment, and that's where the information is really important. Okay, so the best way is through practice, so let's do one together. You're going to hear a recording, and before that recording, go to your 3 summaries, 1, 2 and 3 in A, and quickly skim read that first sentence and what words are different between each one of those 3 summaries. Okay, now remember, as you listen to this audio, you're going to take notes, and then at the end you have to choose one of those 3 summaries which best summarizes the audio. Okay, all right, let's have a go.
Recording A. A cliché, as you know, is an overused and worn-out phrase, and these are to be avoided like the plague in your essays. Indeed, as someone once said, I quote, "There is no greater danger to either education or thinking than the popular phrase." Let me digress a little further. Originally, a cliché was a printer's term, back in the days when letters were sent one by one, for a ready-made block of type of frequently used phrases, usually in the newspaper business. So, there you are. Clichés were also known as stereotypes. Now, if you think of graphic design as a language with its own vocabulary, grammar, and so on, it too must have its clichés. Obvious examples would be the twin Greek masks of comedy and tragedy that symbolize the theatre, and, more popularly known, the heart as a symbol of love, especially on Valentine cards and so on. Far from being a terrible fault, as it would be in literature, The visual cliché is essential in the world of graphic communication. This is certainly true when it comes to advertising and propaganda. The visual cliché can give immediate life to an idea and a clear meaning to what could be a mere abstraction. Recording B.
Okay, how did you get on? What's really important with audios, and the very last thing that the speaker said, he was talking about life and a clear meaning to what is being said. And that's really important for your listening practice. So by then you're used to the speaker's voice, and that's a really good clue. So that's a concluding sentence of the audio there. So I took notes myself. I used overused, try and avoid these cliches. They're popular phrases, used as a printer terminology. I wrote down stereotypes, but actually put question mark. Am I clear about that? If you're not clear about something, keep on listening until you hear something that you are clear about. I wrote down common phrases. I wrote down essential graphic and advertising. And as I say, I finished off with giving life and clear meaning to a subject matter. So, which one of those choices, 1, 2 or 3, best summarises what you've heard? Okay, the answer is 2. The speaker says, a cliché, as you know, is an overused and worn-out phrase. There is no greater danger to either education or thinking than the popular phrase. Now, if you think of graphic design as a language with its own vocabulary and so on, it must have its clichés. The visual cliché is essential in the world of graphic communication. This is certainly true when it comes to advertising and propaganda. The usual cliché can give immediate life to an idea and a clear meaning to what could be a mere abstraction. And as I said, that's the last thing that I wrote down, life and clear meaning. And yeah, looking at that first sentence of number 2, the word cliché is obviously common subject. They're to be avoided in graphic arts, which was one of the notes that I took. You need to, they become essential to get the message across quickly, clearly. It says that with emotional force. So actually about 4 or 5 of my notes are in that first sentence. Shows how important that is. Okay, remember to go over this audio again, play it for a second time, practice that note taking. You can't get enough practice of note taking. Yeah, it's a really important part of your preparation. So consistency and persistence are really important. Make sure you do your homework. Your teachers are waiting for you. We'll look forward to seeing you on Skype. Bye for now.